What's up, everybody? Welcome to another session of Fourth and One. It's your boy Moy with Robbie, Ray, and Nick. We're gonna get it on today. Talk about that draft. All right, let's get it going, fellas. Let's get it going.
Yes, sir. Happy post draft, everybody. That was a fun and exciting draft for sure.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
It was one of the best drafts I've seen in a minute.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's start it off with the draft. Who is the most improved team after this year's draft? Let's start it off, Ray.
Man, I'm going to go with the Philadelphia Eagles, man. I think that they killed it in this draft. They had a hell of a good draft. I think the acquisitions that they also had made as far as the offseason goes were pretty good too. So I think all around, man, I like the Eagles. I think they're going to have definitely a huge say in that division next year when they play, because obviously Dallas is the front runner always usually in that division. But I think they're this year. I think they'll have a say in that division. That's for sure.
All right. Let's go, Moy. What do you think? Who do you think is the most improved player after this year's draft? Or I'm sorry, most improved team. Sorry, most improved team after this year's draft.
I'm gonna go. So solely draft. I really like what the Lions did. They did a good job. Picked up some good weapons. I don't know as far as how they're gonna perform. Because you could pick up some good weapons and if they don't fit in the system and all that. I think I like what Ray said too about the Eagles. Especially that AJ Brown pickup that was just like nobody. I don't think anybody expected that. In fact, the Titans coach didn't even expect that. Right? We saw that. We saw where he was just like, "What? Y'all just got rid of AJ Brown." So I think that really helps them out. They didn't really have a wide receiver one, and I think picking him up really is going to help them in that division. I don't know. I think I might see them. I think I could see them winning that division, taking that division. With their draft picks and then adding AJ Brown.
Yeah, absolutely. They're probably definitely the most improved after that draft. What do you think, Nick?
Most improved by the draft.
Tough question.
I mean, yeah, Eagles is a pretty good pick. I don't know.
You got the Jets. You got the Ravens.
Jets did good, but Jets will still suck. I feel like.
It's always draft good.
Who are contenders that did semi decent? I'm trying to think.
Just judging by some draft grades, Kansas City got an A. They got Trent McDuffie, George Karlaftis, Sky Moore.
Yeah.
Broncos got an A too.
I like what the Ravens did. They need wide receivers, but they also potentially got like probably some of the most likely to be like all Pro Bowl players with Kyle Hamilton and Alex Lindstrom. I don't know. So I think it's hard to tell. I think Lions did a good move. Texans actually had a decent draft. Jets had a decent draft, but I feel like it's hard to gauge like who's the winner when a lot of the people that have the best drafts are like the worst teams because they have like good pick value.
Yeah. It's of course easy to say the Jets had a top draft. I think they had pick 4 and number 10, so they had 2 top 10 players. I mean, it's kind of you're definitely getting the hype. I mean, you got Sauce, you get Garrett Wilson, Jermaine Johnson. They drafted Breece Hall to pair up with Michael Carter. So it's the easy answer. I feel like is the Jets, just because they had those higher picks. But just judging on overall in the draft, I think Baltimore really hit it well. Minus that Hollywood trade to get Linderbaum. That was a little tough one, but besides that.
But wait, let me tell you this. So let's just talk about that Hollywood Brown trade. They basically drafted him first round, right? Whenever they got him, right?
3 years ago. Yeah,
23rd or something like that. They get 3 years of production, and then they turn around and trade him for another first round. Like
first and fourth.
that's like whatever they get, that's legit. Like they basically used him and then got rid of him for the exact same value to replace him. Like
Right.
like the Cardinals, that was a worse trade for the Cardinals. Like especially when they could have got AJ Brown for, I think he went for a later round pick and like a third or something like that. So
AJ Brown was the first and the third. Hollywood was
Yeah.
the first and the fourth.
yeah, so it's like the Ravens actually won that deal. I feel like they got basically 3 years worth of production and turned around and trade him and got the draft value right back. Because I don't know that Hollywood Brown is is like a cornerstone player for your franchise. Like
Well-
he's not a blue chip. Like I need to have this guy for my franchise to win kind of player, in my opinion.
Do you think?
Hollywood kind of falls in real quick. Sorry, Moy. Hollywood kind of falls in where I feel like he's too good to be a second, but not good enough to be a 1st.
Mhm.
He falls somewhere just right in that spectrum. What were you gonna say more?
I was gonna say, do you think Murray had anything to do with that? Because weren't they teammates?
Yeah,
Weren't they
no,
college
Murray
teammates?
definitely.
Yeah.
I think it's because they knew AJ, what's his name, was getting popped for PEDs.
Hopkins.
Yeah, Hopkins got popped for
You think
PEDs.
they knew? Do you think
Yeah,
they
no,
knew
the
about
teams
that?
definitely
Yeah.
know. Like they definitely have like they definitely have a heads up on that kind of stuff like months in advance. So that was totally, they knew he was gone.
Mhm.
Maybe they thought he was going to be gone even longer than what he got suspended for. But yeah, that's totally a play up to DeAndre Hopkins getting popped for PEDs.
So let's stay in Baltimore real quick. Oh, were you gonna say something more? Go
I
for
was
it.
just say maybe they didn't go after AJ Brown because nobody expected him to be available. Because
Mhm.
like even the Titans, like the coach was like, "Wait, what? We're getting rid of him?"
Yeah.
I think Nick
I-
was the one who sent that to our group chat, right? And I think it was like him walking out. Like I think he was so pissed off he just walked away because he was on the Rich Eisen show, and the Rich Eisen show played it. He said, "As long as I'm head coach here, AJ
Yeah.
Brown's not going anywhere,"
Yeah, he
or
said
something
he
like that.
wasn't-
And I
No, I
remember watching the Rich Eisen show, like maybe like a couple after the draft or something like that, like the next day, and they were just playing that video over and over. Like it was crazy. But
Yeah,
I
because
mean, do you guys think that
Niners critics were saying like, "Oh, it would be nice if Kyle Shanahan talked about AJ Brown like Vrabel's talking about," and that's where it's just ironic. Or they were talking about Debo, and they're like, "That's where it's just ironic that like, yeah, Vrabel said all that shit, and then his leadership went above and beyond him and traded him." While meanwhile, Kyle Shanahan runs the 49ers, and he's like, "I'm not trading him. Like, this isn't happening. Like, I'll step in and not do it." And it was just funny because I remember people saying like, well, it would be nice if the 49ers said something about this, like Debo, like the Titans are. And then lo and behold, the Titans go off and ship him off for, I don't even think it's that good of a haul, to be honest. When you have a proven talent like AJ Brown, like he would just straight up dominate games. Like he's a dominant player. And
Yeah.
I don't know that you were like, who did they get? They got, what's his name?
Are you talking about the draft, Nick?
Yeah,
Like who they got in the draft?
What's his name?
Which team again?
It was the Titans. The
The
Titans.
Oh, okay.
Traylon Burks.
Hey, Burks,
Yeah,
who's
they got
like a
Burks.
replacement, who's like a AKA mini Debo, mini AJ Brown. Like you traded a player that straight up dominated games for an unknown, and you know you can comp all you want, but it just you don't know until they're on the field. Like
Yeah.
we've had more than likely that player is going to flop, and you had a sure thing. And I think this goes back to my statement and my feelings about once you pay a QB, you start to see the rest of the team diminish. And this is what happens. They paid Ryan Tannehill, his contract's kicking in. I can't pay $30 million for AJ Brown because I'm paying X amount of money for fucking Ryan Tannehill. And I have Derrick Henry. So you know what? I'll let him go and I'll just draft this guy and hope he turns out to be what he is.
So the reports were saying that AJ was offered 16 mil
16,
with
yeah.
incentives to get up to 20, and AJ said he would have stayed at 22. So that's how close they were. And
Wow.
But that's what happens when you have how much is Ryan Tannehill making?
a lot.
Yeah, 40 million or something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
That's what
Something
happens.
And
like
Is that why the
people,
draft?
Bananas, man.
he's not even worth that much,
bananas.
though.
that's
He's
what I'm
not
saying.
even
But
worth
people
wild.
that.
say like the cap's not real or whatever. It is real. Like it eventually catches up. Like
Right.
it creates issues. The Rams have been really good at navigating it. But that's also, people don't want to leave out that the Rams have been really good at drafting. They've drafted players that have come in and replaced and been able to start. Whereas if they whiffed on that, they would be screwed because they have like 4 or 5 players that are making the majority of their money. And they've just been really good at drafting people. Like they've been really good at the draft and bringing people in who can start.
Mhm.
Who do you guys think won the draft completely? You guys think it was the Jets? The Giants had a really good draft too. They did fantastic.
It's hard to deny that the Jets win the draft, just because once again they had such high picks. Um,
And I also think potential. Well, we will see. It'll be interesting to see how this Trayvon Walker, Aiden Hutchinson works out, because that'll tell you who actually won the draft. And it's like, I don't like Trent Baalke. He's a former 49er GM, and he did have a thing for players who had elite traits, and he would take a chance, like Aldon Smith, like Justin Smith. And some of them didn't work out because they had off-field things. But like to this day, I think it was like Trent Williams and someone else. I can't remember who it was, but they literally said like Aldon Smith was the hardest DE they ever went against. Like he was the most like difficult person, and that was a Trent Baalke pick, like because he had the elite upside, but he had off the field stuff. So we'll see.
so one thing I'm really curious about with Hollywood getting traded, Rashad Bateman becomes number 1. Raymond, I want to go to you last. So maybe Nick, if you want to start this one off, what do you think the Niners are going to do at wide receiver? Because they got to address it. They can't go in. Right. Correct me. Who do you got? You got Rashad Bateman, Devin Duvernay, the really
James
support guy,
Prochet.
Miles Boykin, right? Miles,
What are 49ers
No.
gonna do?
Oh, sorry.
Ah!
So Miles Boykin, actually, we cut him.
Oh, okay, he's
But
gone.
yeah, he only had 1 catch for like 7 yards last year, and he hasn't done anything. So
Got you. Can kill Harry. Got it. So,
When there's not a lot of passing going on.
what? Oh yeah, there's that too. So, who's your wide receiving crew right now?
so it's Hollywood's. Hollywood's gone, but
Hollywood's gone.
so damn. So we got Devin Duvernay, James Prochet, Tylan Wallace. We got him in this 4th round last year, and then we also have, Rashad Bateman.
Yeah.
And honestly, dude, that's pretty much it. We only got like 4 receivers on the roster.
Rashad Bateman.
hurt in the beginning of the year.
Andrews is your top wide
Yeah,
receiver.
he was. He had surgery. He had a groin tear, and he got surgery on it, and he
Right.
didn't come back till like week 6, 7. No, it was pretty late.
It
Something
was
like
pretty
that.
late, yeah, because I had him sitting on my fantasy bench for a while. I think
Yeah, I know, and I wanted him so bad.
know,
I thought
that's
you were
why
going
I
to drop him.
that's why I took him just for you. But you're right, Mark Andrews is definitely the number 1 target. But I'm just saying, like receiver wise,
Nah,
like,
he's their top
wide
receiver.
receivers, you know.
But however, Baltimore did draft 2 tight ends in this draft, so they're thinking about converting one to a receiver because he's like
oh,
he's a I don't know, he's super big, but he's also extremely fast. So they're saying like his blocking is not the best, but he's a really good like pass catcher.
got you. So what do you think? Who do you think? Where do you think they're gonna go, Nick? You think they're gonna sign a veteran? And if
Who,
so,
Ravens?
yeah, and if so, who do you think?
I
they're-
mean, I feel like Ravens at this point they need to bring in a veteran. Didn't they?
so many young guys.
Who didn't Sammy Watkins go to them? Don't they have Sammy
Yeah, and
Watkins?
he only played like 4 games and he
So-
was out.
Sammy Watkins, Rashad Bateman. So here's what I think. I think they're gonna ride this first half of the year out and see how they do. And if they have a legit shot at making a run for it, and he's still available, they'll bring in someone like Jarvis Landry. Or they'll find who's available. Emmanuel Sanders, someone like that. So they'll bring in people, I think, if they have a legit shot, but I think I think they're riding out, and they're also like they're based on this draft, their defense is pretty elite. So I think they're gonna write out that defense and see what it looks like. Again, they have Alex Lindstrom. I don't know. Do they not, Ray? Do they not have like a legit starter at center? Is this going to be Alex Lindstrom? Like he's going to have to come in as a rookie and be the starter?
Yes. I mean, we could convert Patrick McCary to center, but when the Ravens versus the Bills in the divisional round, that I think that was the play Lamar got concussed too. He threw it over his head. His name was whatever. So Patrick McCary, he could fill that void, but it's going to be Tyler. Is it Linderbaum or what's his last name, Nick?
Alex Linderbaum. Yeah, sorry, I think I said Lindstrom. So I think we'll see the first half of the year how it plays out, and I think if they have a legit shot, they might invest in some guys to get them over the hump if they're still available. I think Ravens have a legit shot. Just, I mean, in that division and in general, like I think Lamar Jackson can be that separator. Just depends on how he does in the year and what he puts up. I'm not a fan of what they do as far as their scheme, and they just keep doing the same thing over and over again. I think it's the Kaepernick system all over, and I think coaches have like caught on. So I think they need to evolve, but I think Lamar Jackson is like a transcending athlete in just the sense of the next iteration of Kaepernick. I think he's more and he's better than that, and he brings more to the system. But I still judge that system as I don't know if it can win championships. I don't know if it can win Super Bowls, and it's concerning that their top wide receiver said, "I don't like your system, and I want out of your system because I'll do better somewhere else." So that's where my main concern is. Their defense is going to be elite. Their O-line is probably going to be pretty good, but I am concerned just about the general offensive scheme.
So real quick, just to sum it up, you think week 1 they're just going to run out with Rashad Bateman and Devin Duvernay? Yeah, interesting.
I don't know who their undrafted free agents are. Did they bring in any wide receivers?
They did. Yeah, they brought in about like 3 or 4. We got one guy from Oregon, and the other guys I don't really remember, but there was like 2 or 3 wide receivers.
So they'll probably have a camp battle and see who comes out, and that'll probably be for wide receiver 3 and 4, and we'll see. And maybe something comes from it. But yeah, I think they're just going to roll out and see what it is. I don't know that they're going to make any big moves until they know what they have for the season.
Got you. What do you think, Moy? What do you think Baltimore's going to do at wide receiver? You think they're going to just leave it as is for right now, or you think they're going to add a piece? And if so, what piece?
I think they're going to leave it as is, man. They're a run team. They're just in the run. They don't need wide receivers. That's how they drafted 2 tight ends. They're planning on running.
Yeah.
Nah, I don't know. I mean, there's some named wide receivers that are available. Julio Jones is available. Will Fuller, Landry. So, but those guys are on the older side of the ball. They're like 30, pushing 30, 32, 29.
Bro, I'm 37, so I don't appreciate what you're saying. Like I'm fucking serious.
but you're not taking the hits.
No, I'm not taking hits. I know.
It's
just reality. It's just reality sometimes sets in where I'm talking about these guys are fucking old and washed. I'm like, I'm older than them.
Hey, what if what Nick says is true? They might write it, and if they think they're gonna make playoffs, what if they pick up OBJ?
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know.
Hey, bro, I'll take a couple futures first for Debo if you want him.
Nah, yeah, I don't think they're gonna. I mean, I don't know. Some of these guys. I mean, Emmanuel Sanders could still play. He was doing his thing with the Bills, but Julio was hurt almost the entire season.
Yeah. I had him on fantasy. I know.
Is like, are you gonna take a shot on one of these veterans just to have like a locker room guy there, or
Yeah.
I guess it depends what they're asking for too, how much money they want, for a 1 year or something like that. But
that's crazy.
I mean,
so going in, I was almost certain that everybody's gonna pick a receiver for Baltimore to sign, but you guys are kind of convincing me. Like, yeah, I mean, I guess like. Why get a receiver? I mean, you guys like, run the ball about 60-70% of the time. You got Mark Andrews, you got Rashad Bateman second year, which they've been working out and stuff. I mean, it does make a lot of sense. Correct me if I'm wrong, Ray. I think Bateman plays slot a lot, right?
No, he plays outside.
He plays
He,
outside.
he can go anywhere. He could basically go anywhere.
Right? Okay,
Yeah.
got you. Okay, so I would love to see them pick up a slot piece if Bateman can play outside. Like I would.
That'd be Devin Duvernay. Devin Duvernay played slot when he was.
Okay, well, put him on the third string because I would love to see them sign Jarvis at least. Just having a veteran guy because you got all young guys over there. Rashad Bateman drafted last year. Devin Duvernay drafted last year or the year before?
Year before.
Year before the same draft James Crochet came out of. I remember that. They came in the same draft. I mean, like, you guys have, like, no veteran pieces to really keep it going. I really say they're going to add somebody. I could see a Jarvis coming in the slot. I could see – I don't really know if Cole Beasley really fits into that system.
Okay, wait. But
maybe Sanders.
Okay, I'm going to pivot real quick.
Yeah, okay.
Let's take the context of this year's draft, right? They got a brand new center, right? They got a brand new safety, young.
Yeah.
You don't know how many elite wide receivers. They brought in some tight ends.
Yep.
They have a good defense.
They're running.
Lamar's not signed. What about next year?
I really hate.
Could they be in a semi? Could they be preparing for a semi rebuild without Lamar Jackson? Would it be crazy based on this last draft pick? They got elite talent at multiple positions that don't benefit Lamar Jackson. Could they be building up a team to say, we're going to let Lamar walk next year and we're going to figure out whatever we want at QB because we're going to build a stacked team around everything else? I don't know.
So
that's actually a possibility. I'm not going to – that could be a possibility.
I don't even know.
Or they could be building up a team to what they do and they just run.
Because I like what Nick said.
Lamar doesn't pass.
I like what Nick said too, because both of those tight ends, obviously they're not going to start ahead of Mark Andrews, so they'll be at the number 2. But he's right. We can maybe go back if Lamar does go. I'm assuming they wouldn't want to go that route again, so they could probably do the old school Patriot system that Gronk and Aaron Hernandez back duo and just run the ball good. And when you need to throw it, you can just throw it to both of your tight ends. But if they did that with Lamar, I think he'd be fine too. If he played the season, well,
but it's a question of, do you want to pay Lamar $100 million, $70 million guaranteed, or build out your team and get a couple first rounds for Lamar next season and take the best QB available and just figure it out?
So if to further your question, I mean, how much would you give up for Lamar? I mean, if Deshaun Watson got X amount of picks, I mean,
I'd give 2 firsts. I think a good team would give 2 firsts for Lamar.
But didn't the Browns do 3 first rounds?
Yeah, but I think okay. So I think Deshaun Watson is better than Lamar. I think or at least he's proved more as far as a franchise QB with his passing game alone. Because I think Lamar, he has the dynamics with the rushing, but I don't know that a franchise wants to gamble on a rushing QB. They want to, especially as they get older, they want to know that you can do it in the pocket. And I think Deshaun Watson showed that. Also, the Browns suck, so they also had to overpay. So there's also that part. So Lamar could go to a shitty franchise, and yes, they overpay, but he could also go to what if the Seahawks were like, hey, we'll give you 2 firsts? The Seahawks are a good team outside of QB now. They had a hella good draft outside of QB. If they have Drew Lock, it's going to be awesome. As a 49 fan, I love it. Geno Smith and Drew Lock as opposed to Russell Wilson. It's the greatest thing of my life. It's the greatest thing of my life. Yeah, but I mean, Seahawks are like a QB away, and then there's other teams that are like a QB away, or a coach is on the hot seat to just get that QB. I mean, Eagles could, if Jalen Hurts doesn't make that step this year, they could be in the market for a QB. And so I think next year, Lamar Jackson is a legit QB, I don't like the Greg Roman offense, just personally, just because, like I said, I've seen it from the Kaepernick, and I don't think it's evolved. And I think defenses figured it out, and I don't think it's a recipe for success for a franchise. It's cool for a year or two, but then it fizzles out. But I could see teams trade. I mean, teams would definitely trade for Lamar. They traded for freaking Darnold and Mitch Trubisky, so I could see Lamar going for 2 firsts. I don't think he would go as much as Deshaun because I think Deshaun had a higher value, to be honest, just by perception.
Yeah, I mean, Deshaun Watson's definitely a better thrower of the football. So Deshaun Watson went for a 2024. I'm sorry, 1, 2, 3 first rounders, a third rounder, and a fourth rounder, and they got back in return Deshaun Watson in a fifth. What do you think Lamar would go for then? Nick,
Wait, me?
I think 2 firsts. I think he would go for 2 firsts.
I think that's still
2 firsts or a first and a second, and as a conditional first, if under certain criteria. But I could see easily 2 firsts. I could see teams trading. I mean, to have a franchise QB, 2 firsts is easy. 49ers traded 3 firsts for the hope of a franchise QB in the draft. So 2 is not out of the world of possibility.
I think it's completely unfair because what's Lamar's biggest critique that he can't throw the football, right? His accuracy and stuff like that. And the Baltimore goes in, trades his number 1 weapon away, does nothing at receiver, and just trying to go out there with just a couple young dudes and Mark Andrew. I think it's completely unfair if they do that to Lamar this year. And they got to get him a piece this year, or else that's just not right to do that to him going into the season. So what do you think, Ray? What do you think is going on in Baltimore right now? You guys gonna get a receiver?
Yeah, so I think see, that's the thing, is it's so crazy because like supposedly we're not saying Lamar can't obviously you guys are saying that, you know, his accuracy issues and can't throw the football and all that stuff, but I think their game plan for this year, from what I have heard, was that they are going to attack the middle. They think that Lamar passes a lot better when he's inside the hashes. So that's like giving it to, you know, Mark Andrews a lot. Maybe there might be a really good other tight end that he'd be able to pass to. Devin Duvernay and Rashad Bateman, they can just work basically those crossing routes in the middle and everything like that. But I think they're going to attack the middle, and unless they do get I do think they need a wide receiver, and I think you guys are right. And I think the reason why they didn't go wide receiver this year was because in the first round there was like 8 wide receivers taken off the board. So why would Baltimore say, "Hey, like let's use our second round pick for the 10th, 11th, 12th best wide receiver off the board"? That doesn't make any sense. But so I'm not mad at that we didn't get a receiver. The Hollywood one, it hurt. It did hurt, but like he got 146 targets this year, and he caught 91 catches, and he barely made it over 1,000 yards.
But you can't blame all that on Hollywood, man, because Lamar misses some
big throws everywhere. Can, and the only reason why I'm going to say is you can is because he had I think he might have been top 5 in drops this year. He dropped a lot of passes, man. I mean, he literally could have had a hat trick against the Lions in week 2.
How much targets did he have?
What happened?
How much targets did he have again, you said?
146.
146.
And he only caught 91 balls.
Let's say he dropped 8.
So he dropped like a third of his passes?
Well, and he barely made it over 1,000 yards. Barely. It was like 1,000 and 4, 3, or 5 or 6 or something like that. Receiving yards.
I think you'll see a different version of Hollywood because Kyler is a much better thrower of the football.
I don't. It's hard for me to say it, man. I don't think so, and the reason why is because Marquise Hollywood Brown, and I will admit this, he has a really hard time against the press. But it's if you have the guts to do it, though. Mm-hmm. But obviously, when the corner's off, you know they're just going to double team, especially in Arizona. I mean, who do the Cardinals have? I mean, aside from D-Hop, because D-Hop, you know, obviously is going to be suspended.
The Cardinals are ridiculous. They have
Hurts.
They have who's the little fast guy they drafted last year?
Isabella. Oh no, that was the year.
They got
before.
Andy Isabella, but they got another little fast guy, Moore or something like that.
Rondale Moore.
Rondale Moore.
Yeah.
They have DeAndre Hopkins.
So, like,
they have
if
Zach
they were to
Ertz.
start today, it would be Marquise Brown on the outside.
Yeah.
Who would be the number 2? That
Well,
Isabella
Well, DeAndre
guy?
Hopkins would be number 1, but he's suspended for PEDs.
No, yeah.
So
Rondale Moore.
So number 2 probably be Andy Isabella or something.
Andy
like that.
Isabella, and then the slot would be Rondale Moore.
Yeah.
If I'm a defensive coordinator, I'm saying just double team Hollywood the whole way. And
Well,
let
no,
these other
that's
guys
like
try
as
to
a
beat
49er fan, I don't have any. I have legit zero concern about Hollywood Brown because I know 49ers, like as a philosophy, they want to be like bruisers, and so I know Hollywood Brown. He's a smaller guy. Like if he catches it over middle, he's getting lit up. Like Jimmy Ward, like those guys, they light. That's one thing about the 49ers is they will on defense is like they'll try to bully you and they'll try to like mess you up. Like
And
that's
honestly,
what
I
their
love
game is.
I love what you said too, Nick, because when you literally were like, with, man, I just lost my train of thought. But damn, I totally lost my train of thought. Sorry.
I'm just totally baffled at what you said. So you think right now Lamar Jackson's a better thrower of the football than Kyler Murray? I can't get over that fact.
I don't think. Hey, I don't think Kyler Murray's that good.
Lamar Jackson's a better thrower.
Kyler Murray throws a 50-50 balls just like Lamar Jackson does, but he has DeAndre Hopkins on it. So, and DeAndre Hopkins is arguably the number 1 50-50 ball catcher in the league.
I just got my thought back. I was just gonna say, you see how Nick earlier literally just said, I'm not worried about Hollywood Brown. He doesn't put fear in me. But versus if D-Hop was playing, I think it would put a little bit more fear sure. But I think on that action alone, like that's why I don't think Hollywood is gonna get to the Pro Bowl this year. I don't think he's gonna because of that. Like he doesn't scare people. You know what I mean? He's not like he's fast, but he ain't Tyreek Hill fast.
Right.
He's not, he's a good route runner, but is he D-Hop
he's a B receiver. He's a B wide receiver 1. No one's like, yeah, you have to. So the difference is you have players where coaches have to go, I have to figure out how to deal with this player. Hollywood Brown's not one of those players. DeAndre Hopkins is one of those players. Debo is one of those players. Like there's certain people, Cooper Kupp's one of those players. But like, so DeAndre, like Hollywood Brown, if he's a good player, he's quick, he can catch it. He doesn't change that much. I don't think safeties are scared of him. I don't think cornerbacks are scared of him. Like he doesn't. He has at least at this point, he hasn't proved that. Like he hasn't shown that he's this elite. Like Tyreek Hill changes shit. Like for a defense, like no, we have to make sure this guy's locked down. We have to cover him across like 3/4 of a field because that's how much he can take up on a single play. Like Hollywood Brown's not that guy. So and again, like I said, I thought the Ravens won that trade. I don't think Hollywood Brown is that piece that's missing from a team. I don't think he's the piece that sets a team over. I think Cardinals got desperate because DeAndre Hopkins got popped for PEDs and I mean, I'll still go back. I don't think Cardinals are a good team. I think Cliff Kingsbury is the worst coach in the NFC West, and they always start out hot and they look good, and then they crumble like every year. So everyone gets the hype for them or whatever, and I just think it's the same thing. So
I was gonna say, since we're still on this Ravens topic, can we at least address the whiteboard in the back?
Winner bust for Lamar.
Oh yeah.
I think if Lamar stays healthy, I think they'll be in the playoffs.
No, but it's like win or bust. Like he has to win.
You think he needs a Super Bowl at this point?
No, I think he needs to win a couple of playoff games.
So, but
first he needs to make playoffs. He needs to win the playoff game, possibly a second.
So, but let me ask you this: Jimmy G made it to the Super Bowl. He made it to the NFC Championship, but he looked like shit. People don't credit him for it. What does Lamar have to do to actually get credit for it, though? Does he have to get there, or does he have to put up? Does he have to put up like the stats?
That's a great question. He got to
throw the touchdowns. He got to run the touchdown. That's a great damn question.
He got to do?
What does Lamar have to do for Moy to say, "Damn, you know what?
I'll
know
never
what,
say
guys?
that.
You know
I'll
what,
never say
world?
that.
You know,
I'll never say
Lamar
that.
is a good quarterback, world. Lamar is a good quarterback. I can't wait. I would love to hear what Moy has to think or what Moy has to
Like, what if he's throwing
say
like 2 to
on
1
this.
TD to interception? Like, what if he's rushing for like
What does he have to do,
10
Moy?
touchdowns in the season? No.
Nah,
Let me
he
tell
gotta
you-
make playoffs. He gotta go.
But I'm saying, like, even if he makes the playoffs, like, what does he have to do for you to like acknowledge him as a good QB?
I'm not saying he's not a QB. I'm just saying he's not top 5.
Okay,
Yeah.
so what does he have to do to acknowledge he's within the top? What would he have to do to get
What
top
does
five?
he have to
Consistently-
do? I can't
consistently-
wait.
Like,
Oh my
would he have to
God.
throw like
Consistent-
30
no,
touchdowns? 30
consistently make
touchdowns, 10
playoffs.
rushing.
You gotta consistently be good.
Okay.
Consistently
So
make
even
playoffs.
so this year alone, even if he had like an MVP year, it wouldn't prove he's a top 5 QB because he doesn't have the history of it.
He doesn't have the history.
So
Okay.
you're telling me if he wins the MVP this year, that means in what, like 5 years, he's won the MVP twice? You would still say, nah, he's not that good. Like he's not a top 5.
Let me back you up on it, Moy.
What?
I think I got you. Let me back you up on it. Hold on. I think
There's 5 other quarterbacks I'll take before him. I'll tell you
Name 'em.
that.
Name him.
Who'd you take?
Name him?
Yeah, you got Patty.
Yeah.
I already know two.
Hold on, wait.
It's all right. I already know two.
I'll just say Wilson. All right, I'll take Wilson over him. I'll take
Okay.
Mahomes over him. I'll take Josh Allen over him. Shoot, I'll take
Rodgers?
Burrow over him.
Oh, Rodgers. Yeah, there you go.
I'll take
You-
Rodgers
you
over him.
take
See, that's
Favre?
already 5.
Okay, wait. Put that.
But
But wait,
Favre-
you take Burrow over him?
Yeah.
But what? Okay, so is that dependent though on what Burrow does this year, or is Burrow like has he proven enough? In the 1 year.
No, it would depend what he
Yeah.
also does. No, he can't just have 1 year and that's it and like fall
Yeah.
off. No, but I think he's a player that will consistently stay up there. I think so. I agree.
I agree.
I don't think
too.
this year was a fluke. I don't think
I
people
think
are
he
like,
will,
oh,
but I'm just saying, like, I think you can't base it off of the 1 year. Like, if he comes out and for whatever reason,
we
sucks
can
this
remove
year-
him then. I
wait,
forgot Rogers.
Let me
So
at
we
least
can
throw
remove
this
him
in.
and
Brady
put
too.
Rogers.
We got
There's already
Let me at
5.
least just throw this in here real quick.
There's already
Before
5 over
Lamar
him.
Jackson left and he got his injury, I don't know if anyone remembers, but he was actually the leading candidate for MVP.
No one remembers.
He was the leading
Oh,
candidate
God.
because that game. So
he was not.
hold on here. This is
You can pull
before
it
he
up.
got
He was
injured,
not having a
and the
great
reason
game.
why.
Wait,
you
you're
guys
saying
remember
like
the
this past year before he got injured?
this year,
No.
this year.
Oh,
You're
no,
crazy, dude.
You're crazy.
No,
So-
he was
no,
not.
no,
I
no,
don't.
wait,
I
wait, wait, time
literally
out.
don't. Wait,
Wait,
I
time
don't.
out.
To
Hold
be
on here.
honest,
I'm
I don't
talking
ever
not
remember.
about the end of the season.
But wait,
I'm
wait,
not
wait,
saying
wait.
about the end of the season.
I don't remember at any point in the year them talking about Lamar being the MVP.
I
No,
don't
they
either.
were not.
Yeah.
Nope.
I feel like I remember
promise,
more
if you
that
type
Mac
it
Jones
in,
was the MVP more than Lamar Jackson.
look, I promise you, if you typed in Lamar Jackson MVP for this year, it would show
And
all
it
the
would probably
analysis,
be all
everything.
Ravens
Raven
fans.
reports?
It
Can
would
we
just
not
be
include the
reports by
Ravens
Ray
It wasn't the
Saldana.
Ravens reporting
He's the
team. I mean,
MVP.
Oh,
Hold on. I want to address something because Ray was getting on Hollywood Brown about how many targets he had and how many catches he had. Right. So you're putting it that he dropped some, but I actually
a
looked
lot.
up.
He dropped
So
a
hold
lot.
on. But I looked up the stats, the
Go.
receiving stats, and Andrews had like over 150 targets and he only had 100 receptions. So so you're saying that he dropped a third of his passes too?
Look at the receiving
you-
yards.
Hold
Did
on,
you
but
see
you're
the
saying that
receiving yards?
he had like 1,300.
Did you see the yards per when you
So
throw the
you're
ball
saying
and he
Lamar-
catches it? Did you
Lamar
see the
doesn't
stats
throw
too?
it.
But hold on, but you were
let's not
That's
stay
what you're
away
saying?
from the topic.
but you were talking
saying,
about
yeah.
how the amount of targets as opposed to the reception. So you were making the assumption that he has a lot of those drop. So then are we also saying that Andrews has like a third of his targets dropped too,
No,
or is it a
Marquise
quarterback
Brown.
thing?
So to answer your question, Marquise Brown has drops, yes, but they're in critical moments. They're in crucial moments. They are. It was true in the
Now you're
playoffs against the
changing,
Titans.
No,
Against
hold
the
on.
Titans.
Okay, but can't you also say the same thing? Like Lamar
But
has
Mark
fumbled
Andrews
or
is
thrown
really
interceptions.
clutch.
at
Hey, there
such
was a
moments in
game
the
where he
season.
had like 2-3 fumbles. There was
Mark
multiple games.
Andrews?
No, where Jackson had multiple fumbles.
Yeah.
There was
Yeah.
and that was this year. So that's why when you're saying he was the candidate for MVP,
Hey, wait.
I don't know.
Okay, and I
let
can
me
address
go
that. I'll
let
be
me
happy
go
to
fully
address it.
hypothetical. Ray, would you rather the Ravens sign Lamar Jackson long term or have the number 1 overall pick for their choice next year?
Here we
I'd
go.
sign Lamar long term.
Oh man.
This guy's gonna
I would
die.
sign
He
Lamar
gonna die
Jackson long
Lamar.
term.
He gonna.
Okay.
Well, but can I at
But
least
we're,
address
no, we're
the,
gonna, it's
the,
fine.
the
It's fine. We're
MVP
gonna
thing, though?
revisit it at the end of the year and see how Lamar did, and then you can have your choice again and see who the upcoming number 1 overall draft pick is.
It's going to be the kid from Alabama.
Who's that? I'm trying to think of his name.
He won the Heisman this year.
Yeah.
Well, sorry, just to address the MVP thing. So the reason why the Ravens were 7-3, they versed the Colts. You guys remember that game? That crazy comeback? You guys don't remember that game?
I don't remember.
I think I remember.
That was
that
like
game
really
too.
wild. We were
Yeah.
down by like a tremendous amount in the fourth quarter. We ended up just coming back and like winning.
Yeah. So
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 we go 8-3 that week. Everyone was saying Ryan Clark. Everybody was saying like Lamar Jackson's MVP right now. If the season ended today, he'd be MVP. But that next game, he got injured for 6 games.
Lamar finished with 16 touchdowns and 13 interceptions, and I can't even find his fumbles on here. I'm sure it's excessive. How can a guy like that be MVP?
Dude, I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you, because I think it was just so crazy. Like every single game just literally came down on the wire for Baltimore. If you really look at every single game, it was like by like always like less than 7
Yeah, but
points.
it's the same thing. It's the same argument that I have with Jimmy G, where I feel like Niners are stacked and they would win some of these games in blowouts, but Jimmy G has the propensity to keep teams in it. Why does he throw an interception in the fourth quarter? Like, why is he doing this? Like, why is he doing that? There's the same kind of thing where like you can be a good QB, but you can still kind of blow the team up. And I don't know if that's the case with Lamar, but at the same time, like he didn't have a good TD to interception ratio and his fumbles, like I said, so he didn't necessarily help keep teams out of it. He didn't shut teams down.
Right.
I'll go as far as saying this. You know who deserved MVP? Your damn kicker. Because when you have a kicker that can kick for like 60, almost 70 yards,
63
you
yards?
don't need Lamar to throw it that far.
Yeah,
You
but
know
did
what I
you see
mean?
before that? Did you see
So-
how he
so-
even got to the?
But
Lamar
a lot
came
of those
through on
close,
fourth
a lot
and,
of
like,
those games.
what,
If you look
23?
at their scores, a lot of those games are won by a field goal.
They won
Lamar
from the
Lamar
Lions.
didn't throw a
They won from
touchdown.
the Lions by 1 point.
And let me further this
If I'm
point.
not mistaken.
We would have dominated them if Marquise Hollywood Brown didn't drop 1,
That's true.
not
We'll see.
2,
But
not
but
3.
that's what I'm saying.
That fool dropped like 4 touchdown
So-
passes that game.
so
Can
you're
you believe
saying-
it?
you're
He was
saying it's
wide
on-
open.
But you're
And
saying
Lamar
it's
threw
on,
it to him.
it's
And he
just-
caught it and he dropped it.
but you're saying it's on Hollywood Brown. What have you guys done to get better from him then? You
Yeah.
haven't.
No.
We
Right?
tried to draft
So
for
now
Josh
he's just not
Bateman.
there.
We
So
draft
now-
him. We'll see
now
how he works
drops
out.
it and loses it, but now you just don't have a top wide receiver weapon. Like you guys got rid of him, so it's hard to say like, oh, we're better off. But it's like no, like Hollywood Brown cost us games, but you didn't replace him with anything better. Like you have tight ends, but that's not the same weapon that Hollywood Brown was.
No, you're right.
Regardless if he drops,
sure
him.
on
So
that.
that's where it's just kind of tricky.
And I think you guys are right. I think for you guys to say, yeah, they'll probably add a veteran wide receiver. Yeah, I hope we sign Jarvis Landry, but I wouldn't even mind Julio Jones, to be honest with you. If he's 100% healthy. If he's
Yeah.
not healthy, then heck no. But I mean,
Got Odell.
I would do
Odell.
Odell. I
Odell
would
will be
take,
whoever is
take
available
Odell.
in the
I would take
playoffs.
Odell 100%. But I just feel like Baltimore's not going to take Odell because he can't be used till the end of the season.
Right. Yeah.
So I think they probably will sign somebody. Or since Kyle Hamilton's the new safety, I don't think Chuck Clark's a horrible player. They were looking about doing a trade with the Raiders and see if Baltimore can snatch one of their receivers. I forgot who it was. Huh?
Who would you take though? Like Brian Edwards? Like that's
No.
You're not getting Renfro for Chuck Clark.
Renfro.
You're not getting Renfro for Chuck Clark. You're gonna
Hunter
have to put in
Renfro from the
something.
Raiders.
Yeah.
No.
Not for Chuck Clark.
What about Chuck Clark in a draft pick?
It'd have to be probably a higher draft pick, but I don't
Second
even
round
see-
draft pick? And Chuck Clark? Who would be starting over
more?
Jonathan Abrams? Right, I think that's his
Yeah.
name.
Would you do that more? Oh, he's thinking
Oh,
too.
he's thinking about it. Let's
Real
go.
hard.
Let's
That's second.
go.
Yeah.
For who? Jonathan Abrams and what?
Nah, I don't know.
So he's saying Chuck
I
Clark
thought-
and the second for Renfro.
Okay, wait. Can I just say, like, I thought Jonathan Abrams was good. Did he suck or what happened?
No, he's complete trash.
Like, what happened though? I feel like
missed
was
tackles
it just
for
hype
days.
or what?
Yeah, it was all hype. Missed tackles. He can't tackle anybody. He's always in the wrong spot. Yeah. I think he has very high potential. Don't get me wrong.
He needs to go to the Patriots or the Seahawks because they always manage DBs
He
really
really
good.
needs to get coached up.
Like for
really
some
well.
reason, they can create really good DBs.
Before this podcast is over and all that stuff, I would love to address the Patriots draft this for this segment too, or if we could get this in here. I would love to hear what Robbie has to say about his New England Patriots. And
There's
Billy
no point
Beast.
in Patriots drafts because they'll.
Are we gonna go there?
I would love to. I really would. I want to get your thoughts on your guys' draft.
Okay. Here we go. I think that Cole Strange pick was just that, a little strange. There's not much I can say about it. I think he'll definitely fill in that hole for us. I don't know. I feel like he could have been there probably for us in the second round. I'm sure maybe even the third round or the fourth round, but I'm sure Belichick probably saw something. Probably got a good look at somebody's draft boards on draft night and saw that it was much higher on those boards. So I'm not too upset about it because it fills a really big hole with that Shaq Mason left, and we really had nobody to replace him.
Wait. What position is that?
Right guard.
Right guard. Okay, so
Yeah.
he'll fill in right. What's your center? Who's your center?
David Andrews.
How long is he gonna be there?
Well, he's got a few legs left. You think he'll
Okay.
be there? For 2
So
more
he
years?
could be because I know Cole Strange was like a center potential replacement. So
Yeah.
he could potentially trade over. Okay, but you're
I
good
love
there.
David
So
Andrews,
O line's like set then for like
Oh, our
2
O
or 3
lines, yeah, from left to right, it's set now. So now we don't got to worry about O line. A second round receiver. I mean, we traded for Devontae Parker. So we traded for Devontae Parker. We got Nelson Aguilar. I mean, I know these are all sub guys, mid guys, but I'm just saying. Devontae Parker, Nelson Aguilar, Kendrick Bourne, and
Jesus Christ, it's
Jacoby
Kendrick
Myers.
Bourne.
And Jacoby Myers. And now we got Tyquan Thornton. Like another, like I know he's had the best in this previous combine. He was the fastest guy, but just don't know where he fits in. I mean, if we get rid of Nelson Aguilar, okay, but is he still going to be a second round receiver and sitting behind 4 other guys? I would.
If he does become a
Eh.
Nelson Aguilar, though, Robbie, I think the difference between him and Nelson is that Traquan Thornton can catch.
Yeah.
Yeah,
catch
he
the
lied.
football.
That man was terrible.
And Nelson Aguilar, I must say, he does drop a lot of passes.
I don't know why.
Well,
we,
aren't you guys getting
yeah.
rid of? Didn't you not? you didn't pick up Nikhil Henry's 5th year, so he's
Yeah.
gone.
So yeah, he's gone for
But
sure.
Treylon Burks is like supposed to be. He was like the Debo comp, just because that's the hot thing now. But he's not as good as Debo, and he's not proven. I think, and again, he was a reach from where. Same thing with Cole Strange. Like
You mean
it's fine.
Tyquan Thornton?
I don't Tyquan Thornton. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
I don't mind too much. I don't care too much about reaches or this or that, depending on how the player turns out. If they flop, then yeah, it's a big
Right.
FU. But if they turn
Right.
into all pros, then it's like no one cared.
Yeah.
Like, what's the matter? So I don't care too much about that. But they did both seem like stretches. Tyquan Thornton seems like a stretch. I don't know that you needed to get him in the second, but I also feel like and everyone kind of is in the same sentiment that Bill Belichick's like, I don't fucking care. Like, I'm just gonna get the players that I want to get in whatever order I want to get, and it is what it is, and that's fine because he has 6 Super Bowls. Like, what are you gonna do? Like, who cares? Like, he may never win a Super Bowl again, but he's got the 6, so it's whatever. Like, I just think it is what it is. I think they built a better team. Historically, though, they suck at drafting wide receivers, so I wouldn't be surprised if he's the biggest bust of the year and a continued tradition. But it is what it is. I think, like, at least I think they did. I think Cole Strange is a good player, though. So It's interesting. Didn't they get more running backs though when they
Yeah,
just got two
I was
last year?
gonna get to that. We
You
got
know,
pretty
So
yeah.
strong.
What was
so
your
it's
what? I was gonna say, Rob. What's your uh? What was the last draft pick we were on? Oh, Traquan Thornton. So this would be your third, right?
That was Taquan was the second, and then we got Marcus Jones. I think he's
Marcus
5'8".
Jones.
Marcus Jones is good. He's going to be a
Yeah,
good nickel cornerback. Or do you
yeah.
need him on the outside, or you need nickel?
Honestly, Jonathan Jones plays the nickel, but I feel like he's better outside.
So
So
Marcus Jones is a really good cornerback, especially if you're
yeah,
going about nickel. So if you can move someone outside, I think that's a really good pickup, and it makes sense for
I think he's
Patriots
a starter
with
for you
upping
guys day one.
their Baltimore. Don't they need a safety though, or who do they have?
we got Devin McCourty and Kyle Duggar.
Okay.
Kyle Duggar's filling in pretty nicely slowly with the Patrick Chung role. I love it. And then we got another corner in the 4th round, Jack Jones,
Yeah.
who I didn't know too much about, but I don't know. I read that he has some off-field issues and stuff like that. We did re-sign Malcolm Butler. Hopefully, Butler can coach him up. And then the 4th round was really a head scratcher because, I mean,
Your
I'm okay
new
with the running
franchise
back.
QB.
I'm okay with the running back, but the second or the third, 4th rounder we have, Bailey Zappi.
Yeah,
First of all,
your new Tom Jones or
Dude,
Tom Brady.
Robbie, lay it to us, man. What are you thinking about that?
all right, I'm gonna talk.
Okay, wait.
over here.
Who's your QB room right now? It was Mac Jones, and who's your backup?
Brian Hoyer and Jared Stidham.
Oh,
Because Jared Stidham is
elite
complete, the best quarterback ever. But no, so I know. God dang, I just said his name. What's his name? Our third
Brian
corner, our
Zappi
quarterback.
or Brian Hoyer.
Zippy.
No, no, Brian
Zippy.
Hoyer. Brian Hoyer. Who's behind Brian Hoyer? I just blanked on his name. I just said it.
Jarrett Stidham.
Jared Stidham. Thank you.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry. I thought you were talking about the rookie
He's gonna
guy.
be completely gone. I think Brian Hoyer is a great mentor, but I think if something happens to Mac Jones, I don't think Brian Hoyer can step in and kind of still make that offense run. And it was kind of shown that the last couple of years that Brian Hoyer can still not, I mean, like he's a great backup mentor type quarterback. So at first I'm like, what the hell are we doing, Bill? Like, why are we doing this? Like every year I'm just scratching my head on these picks, and every year he somehow proves me wrong. So I'm not gonna doubt the guy. Besides the N'Keal Harry one. So Bailey Zappi, I'm happy. I guess we needed him. But picking up 2 running backs, and then we got Ramondre Stevenson. I think Damien Harris is gone. James White, we re-signed him. I don't know for how long. So our running back room's pretty crowded. I mean, we might just throw the ball 3 times again. And
so you're not even upset by the slightest of that pick?
which one?
The Bailey Zappi, the quarterback?
No.
Or Cole Strange in the first.
I'm just a little shocked how you're not like that shocked by it. Like,
but even in the first, you could have had Sky Moore. You could have had Christian Watson. You could have had Kenneth Walker the third. Like you went
in the first round.
Yeah, you went in the first round.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, absolutely. In the first round, I'm completely upset. But I mean, it's just whatever, I guess. I mean, like, what can I really do? Of course, I'm upset about it. Like, we really have a void at linebacker. And if I'm not mistaken, I don't think we drafted one linebacker and not even signed one.
You could have had Dean. Like, didn't he slip
Jacoby
all the way to late third
round.
or fourth or something like that?
And I think he passed us up on the 3rd round, and then the Eagles drafted
him. You didn't even need him. You could have sat same with Niners. They had Fred Warner, they have Aziz Ansari, they have Dre Greenlaw. They could have sat, that was a pick that I think they would have went for if he had sat. Yeah. Like if he had got to their next pick, I think they might have got him. But it's like you can sit him, redshirt him. He's a potential first rounder blue chip player. Yeah. Like you don't need him. Like why not just get him?
Yeah, Nakobe Dean. I think he was. I think there was some medical on him too. But I mean, and they were saying that he's undersized. This and that.
But yeah, it's
5'11". Like there's a bunch of linebackers that plays 5'11", 6 foot.
It's so crazy. First round, like I said, you could have had Sky Moore. You could have had Christian Watson. Like.
Yeah,
and you probably still could have got Cole Strange. Like either way, if you really wanted Cole Strange, you could have traded up early in the second and got him like the Packers did. Packers traded up to 33 or whatever for Christian Watson. Like,
well, we actually traded up for two number 50 to get Tyquan Thornton,
Yeah.
and we gave up our later second and like a fifth or something like that. I can't remember, to the Chiefs. I don't
Yeah,
remember. What it was.
I think Patriots had a bad draft, to be honest with you. But
Well,
like we'll
besides
see
the
how their
greatest-
players turn out. Cole Strange, like I said, he looks like a good player. He could be
Yeah,
a franchise player. It is what it is, but it seems like they passed up on some guys that could have been immediate help to them for
yeah,
areas they needed, and they chose not to. So it's just kind of
right.
interesting. And maybe Bailey Zappi is just going to be the next Jimmy Garoppolo, where they're going to develop him and flip him. If
Yeah,
you spend a fourth and you get a second back in a couple of years, there's probably good value to that.
yeah,
It is what it is.
yeah. I mean, okay, so let's run it down, right? Cole Strange, that was a reach, right? Tyquan Thornton, why do we need a fifth wide receiver? Like, why? Like, I don't understand,
Especially when
right?
they run
Yeah.
more often.
And we drafted two running backs later. So if you really want me to grade the Patriots draft, I'd give them a C as being
And
generous.
Tyquan Thornton doesn't bring that much. Like it's different if you had traded up like into the first round and got like a Chris Olave or a Garrett
Yeah,
Wilson or something versus Traylon Burks.
right. Yeah. Tyquan Thornton.
Tyquan Thornton, yeah,
Yeah,
sorry.
I know what you meant. Yeah. So if you really want me to grade it, I give it C, and that's being generous. But am I disappointed? Of course. But am I okay with it? Of course, because we did get some needs out of it. Cole
Didn't
Strange
you
is
guys get the
definitely a
punt
reach.
god? Didn't you get punt god? Oh, no, Bills got punt god. Bills got
Yeah, the
punt
Bills
god.
Really?
got punk.
They got a Razor. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I think our draft could have been better. How do you feel about your draft now, Nick? Because I know you guys didn't draft till much later, so it was
It's
a little
good.
harder.
This was an interesting draft for the 49ers for this Shanahan Lynch regime because like historically they've jumped around. Like I think last year they didn't spend a single like original pick. They jumped around so much that they were like crazy, or maybe it was the year before. But so I think a lot of people expected them to jump around, and so I think it was kind of interesting this year. I think they literally were trying an experiment to say, hey, let's just like our team's good. Let's just sit and see who's available
Uh-huh.
and just take BPA. Whereas I think before they've reached a little bit. They reached with Trey Sermon. They traded up to get Trey Sermon. They traded up to get Brandon Ayuk. They took Aaron Banks in the second round last year. They've just I
Who?
think they got Dante Pettis, who was a bad pick, Solomon Thomas. So I think they're trying something a little bit this year just to see like what's up. And I think they actually, because the draft was so stacked, I think they did a good job. Like Drake London is like legit. He's a legit edge rusher who it's crazy that he slipped to the second round, especially the 61st pick. Like he has crazy bend and dip of functionality and speed. Like he could legit be our next D forward. And you pair him next to Nick Bosa, like if you look at the 49ers depth, I think they have like 12 or 13 D linemen right now, like legit starting D linemen. They have legit 3 different fronts that they can roll out at any point, which is crazy stacked. So I think there'll be some cuts there, but this team needed someone. I think we saw last year, like Nick Bosa was just getting like hardcore double and triple teamed all year, and even still he was dominating, but it was just happening. So I think they saw like, okay, we need a legit talent on the other side to help free up Nick Bosa. So I think like Drake Jackson's going to be that guy. He's got some crazy talent. I'm happy with it. They drafted Danny Gray, who's like a super speedy wide receiver, so that'll help. I think it's clear now we're going with Trey Lance over Jimmy Garoppolo. So I think we'll see a whole different like threat where other teams basically just stacked the box and they were like, hey, we're just going to put 8 defenders over the middle and we're going to load up the box and figure out like Jimmy Garoppolo throw, we dare you. And so now we have Trey Lance who's going to throw it to the outside hashes. And I think we added that speedster who will clear out a lot of the field, whereas Brandon Ayuk was having to do that last year. And that's good. We added 2 more linemen who I think will add to the competition. Like our O-line is kind of a question mark right now, but I think we have so many camp bodies that they're just hoping that they throw it to a competition and 2 people emerge and it's okay. What we'll see. It's still kind of a hesitation. But when it comes back to it, it's like the main strength of the 49ers is the rushing game. And so like a lot of people want to talk about Trey Lance, like, oh, he could be the next Mahomes or Josh Allen or blah blah. Like he legit just has to be better than Jimmy Garoppolo. Like we made it to the NFC Championship with the ghost of Jimmy Garoppolo, who had the worst playoff record of any QB ever in the history of the NFL. So I think just adding Trey Lance is going to open up a whole nother dynamic. And he just has to be good enough to get the reads off and get the passes off. And I think it'll open up our running game even more. And with this new guy, Tyrion David Price, like I wasn't huge on it, but he's like a crazy bruiser. When you go back and watch his video, he just will make like a cut and then he's north to south super quick and he just lowers his shoulder and he goes for it and adds a couple yards. So it'll be exciting. So I'm
big downhill runner for sure. All right, boy, let's go with it. What do you think about the Raiders draft?
I'll be honest, I didn't watch their picks like live. We didn't have picks right till later. But I did see. I know we picked up a couple running backs, some defensive tackles, and whatnot. I think there were good picks.
Is there someone you're excited for?
What was that?
Is there someone you're excited for?
I'm excited to see the running backs. I haven't been too happy with our running back situation, so hopefully.
I think Josh Jacobs is highly overrated.
Yeah.
Well, he's done now, right? They
didn't pick up his fifth year, so I think that's why they drafted two other running backs just to have options back there and see. Yeah, I haven't been too excited on him. I remember when we had him the first year, people were all hyping him up and just.
I know your boy Nav loves him, but
he just didn't.
Averages what 3 yards a carry, 3 yards.
Yeah, he didn't pan out. So hopefully one of these running backs pans out. I think they're saying White is a speedy running back with power too. So hopefully, I don't know, he might do some things. Yeah. So hopefully.
So you didn't watch much of the draft besides the first round. You were with us. You didn't watch the second.
Nah, I watched them, but like I wasn't like, oh, the Raiders pick. I was just getting updates on them, and I then looked into it because I know we didn't have a pick until way later.
Gotcha.
Because we gave up for Devontae Adams.
Yeah.
So, but I was hoping we had late picks, so it's not like we would have picked up a top corner. I wanted somebody in the secondary, but
yeah.
It is what it is, At least Hill is no longer in our division, so we don't have to worry about him. So at least that's something, where our secondary doesn't have to worry about him.
Got you. Yeah, it makes sense you didn't watch the beginning of the draft because you weren't a Raiders fan in the beginning 3 weeks. But Ray, what do you think? Let's wrap it up. What do you think about your draft, Ray?
Oh man, dude, I think the Baltimore Ravens killed it in the draft. I think we had a hell of a dope ass draft.
Yeah.
Oh, so we get freaking Kyle Hamilton, who was supposed to. Mel Kiper had him rated the 4th best player in all of freaking college football.
Yeah.
And we get him, he falls all the way to 14. Are you kidding? So we're like, okay, so we go and sign him, and then we somehow get a crazy deal with Arizona. We get the 23rd pick. We trade back, I think, with the Bills. And we basically get our 4th round back that we just gave to Arizona. We just got that back just in that trade. Then we get Tyler Lindenbaum, who they were saying he was the best center in the past, to come out of college in the past 10 years. That's freaking wild. So we get him, and then we go to the 2nd round, and when I saw David Ojabo there, I was like, yo, he's going to be a Raven. I can't believe this is going to happen. Him and Owe, they actually were really, really close. They're actually super close. And those two are going to be terrorizing quarterbacks. And by the way, David Ojabo is projected to actually play the season. He would be ready by December, January, to officially could be to go.
Yeah.
So I think, maybe we get a veteran at that spot, Justin Houston, just he was last of his legs and just kind of go from there. Maybe we do that. But that was stellar. And then you go to the 4th round. Travis Jones.
Yeah.
From UConn. Literally, they were literally saying that this guy was actually projected to be a high 2nd round pick. maybe early first. At 6'4", 325 pounds, he ran a 4.92 in the 40. I mean, I know he's no Jordan Davis, but I mean that's pretty. 325 pounds. I mean that's a 6 foot. That's crazy. So we got him, and then and then the punter. We got a freaking punter. I mean, I'm hella sad because our punter. I love our punter. He's probably one of the best, if not the best, place hold kickers too in the league. That's just I know Justin Tucker's kicking the ball, but he's got to place that just right. So hopefully
Right.
Jordan Stout. Hopefully he comes in and he dominates, man. Hopefully he's pretty solid. So, but I think the Baltimore
which tight
Ravens
end are
killed
you
it,
more
man,
excited
from
for?
top to bottom.
Which tight end are you more excited for? Charlie Collier or Isaiah Likely?
Dude, I think Charlie Carler. I think Charlie Carler is going to be more Mark Andrews esque, and I think likely could possibly be that Darren Waller. Hopefully, I see him more as that Darren Waller type. He's got
Mhm.
that speed. He's got the size. He's got a extremely great catch radius, good hands. He can, but I think he can work on his route running a little bit better. But he'll improve. So I can see him like that.
Yeah, absolutely. I wish I could be that hyped about my team's draft. But yeah, you guys definitely had a great draft. Can't deny that.
All right. That concludes our session of 4th and 1. Thank y'all for tuning in on this session. Y'all have a good one.
Peace.
Peace.
I'm going.